So I will begin with a spiritual mind treatment. This word is being spoken for each one. And if there is anyone you would like to have included or any place on the planet, just think of their name or that spot now. And if you would like to include your father, your earthly, biological, or family father, or whoever was a father to you, or all the fathers, whatever. Think of their names now and know that this word is also for them. Yes. So, this one divine, magnificent life is being all and being intelligent and being all powerful. It is the Father, the Creator to this entire universe and everything in it. And being that Father, it is a consciousness of clarity, a consciousness of knowing, yes, I am that I am, and knowing this in specific detail. And each and every creation is the result of that divine knowing in its specific detail. Each one for whom this treatment is a direct, clear thought of this divine creator, this divine Father. And so that divine creator has declared, let there be each one, and each one is. And that Father, looking upon its creation, declares, it is very good. Each and every one is a living, breathing image and likeness, a replica, a projection, a materialization of that Heavenly Father. And each one has been given the gift to be that Father to themselves, to embody the consciousness of the masculine principle, the fathering principle, and to use it with wisdom and with love, to select that which he or she desires to experience or that which he or she desires to have created in their world, to make those choices and allow that mothering, that feminine principle, to the law, to make it so. And so this is the consciousness that from which each one is created and with which each one is given. A consciousness that can choose and a consciousness that can create. And so this day, each one's unconscious definition of father or masculine principle or authority is expanded to realize it has nothing to do with personality or persons, and it has nothing to do with gender or how any human being might express in this form. It has everything to do with the creative principle that is the gift of life within each one. And being given this gift of creation, each one is now stepping up to that divinely given authority, that right to choose the good that they desire to experience for themselves, that gift of being able to name that creation in each one's world. And so each one is using divine wisdom and love to name that which he or she desires to experience in this world, to name it wisely and lovingly and with boldness and with daring, to declare, I am that I am, and to declare what each one desires to be and become, which each one desires to embody. And so there is no ego about this. There is no conceit in declaring, I am that I am, and to choose to live into the greatness that is possible for each one to express that greatness of the divine I am that is uniquely created as each one, this unique possibility of expressing the great I am that I am resides within each one. And it is that Father within each one that chooses and demands to be that greatness, that unique expression of the divine. And so each one is boldly claiming the I am that I am in specific, unique, and wonderful ways, ways to specialize the infinite possibilities of the all good, to specialize it in each one's personal world. And because each one is stepping up and claiming that gift of fatherhood for oneself, each one is therefore able to appreciate and value the gifts of fatherhood, of masculinity, of maleness, of that assertive energy, that choosing energy that exists for each one, within each one in this world, in all of the infinite forms that it takes. And so each one is this day inspired, emboldened, empowered, and filled with the energy and vitality of knowing that one's word is the law. And so each one is knowing now the power of that word that he or she declares or speaks, the power of the word that they declare, the power of the word, the gift of choice, and is using it with creativity and imagination, with wisdom and love and grace, with compassion, and with clarity, crystal clarity. And so each one is, as a result, choosing and having created for themselves through these choices a life that each one loves completely, a life where each one feels in love with life. And in love with life is in love with the all. And being in love with the all, each one is in love with this world and everyone in it. Each one is, because of these wise choices of claiming that authority in their personal life, each one is therefore able to mix and mingle and relate to everyone and everything on this planet with grace and with generosity, with wisdom and with discernment. And so able to be with anyone, anywhere, at any time, and know harmony, peace, joy, to know that each one in each one's world is free to be whatever they choose to be and make whatever choices they desire to make, because that which each one has chosen is sacred and inviolate. It is between each one and the great I am that I am. And that law obeys each one's word, and that word alone, in creating the world for each one. And so this is a day of true stepping up into fatherhood, stepping up to it and claiming it and being it. And as a result, creating a world that works perfectly, a world of harmony and peace, a world of success and right action, a world of ease and grace, a world of love and connection. And with all of this, fully supported by everything in this universe, with its riches, its glory, its opportunities, its ideas, its money and finances, and with its wonderful relationships, and with glorious vital health. Each one's earthly body is now created by the choices each one is making, and each one's body is a fit vehicle through which each one may experience the joy of the world that they have selected. That's the truth. I'm glad it's the truth. I release this word to the law. And it is done. And so it is. And that is the way it is. Okay, so let's move forward. We've got lots of exciting things this morning. Reverend Rich, take us away.
I am opening, I am opening, my heart is ready to receive. I am opening, I am opening, my heart is ready to receive. I am opening, I am opening, my heart is ready to receive.
And so let's take a moment and open to receiving our choices, the fulfillment of our choices. So we have to make a choice about what we're opening to, and then allow that loving law, that mothering principle, to create that for us right now, right here. Now's the time. Everything's ready. Why wait? So just open your heart and know it is done. And so it is.
I am opening, I am opening, my heart is ready to receive. I am opening, I am opening, my heart is ready to receive.
And so it is my pleasure to announce to our worldwide community that we now have 3 new practitioners in our community. And so we want to congratulate Gary Torres, Stephanie Lockenauer, and the one who is going to be giving us our welcome this morning, Mary VerCande.
Thank you. Welcome to CSL Princeton. We are a loving, healing, inclusive community that teaches and practices the principles of science of mind for the spiritual growth of ourselves and the world. Karen said, I am Mary VerCande, and I am a practitioner here at CSL Princeton. So you now have 3 more practitioners who have joined the practitioners here who are willing to do spiritual work for anybody who needs it. So you can go on our website, csl.org, and you can request spiritual work, you can request prayer, and we will be willing to support you. There you can also find out about a couple of classes we have going on. Susan Neat's Evening Inspirations continue this Wednesday with the Mystical Eye, and evening Considering the Words of Joel Goldsmith. It's a Zoom meeting. The doors open at 7:20, and the workshop will begin at 7:30. On Saturday mornings, our practitioner, John Herron, conducts a writing forum on Zoom, and you can find the link to that on our Facebook page. That begins at 10:30 in the morning. It's on Saturday mornings. And so today is Father's Day. I also want to say Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Happy Father's Day. Today, summer starts at 11:32 p.m. So we get a new season. We have a new start. And today, right now, starts the rest of your life. And so you get to choose what that might be. So I welcome you here. I hope you get some inspiration and some ideas. And we are always willing to support you in whatever your next step is and what you want for your life. You choose, we'll help. Welcome to Center Spiritual Living.
So in honor of our newest holiday, Juneteenth, something that's been a long, long, long time coming, I want to sing one of my favorite songs by Bob Marley, Redemption Song. Oh, pie, oh, pie. Oh, pirates, yes, thy robber sold I. Okay. Sorry, Bob. Oh, pirates, yes, they rob I. Sold I to the merchant ships. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit. But my hand was made strong by the hand of the Almighty. We forward in this generation triumphantly. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? All I never had was redemption songs. Redemption songs. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, but none of them can stop at the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Yes, some say it's just a part of it. We got to fulfill the book. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? All I never had was redemption songs. Redemption songs. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, with none of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Yes, some say it's just a part of it. We got to fulfill the book. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? All I never had was redemption songs. All I never had was redemption songs.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jeffrey Starbuck, and I'm a licensed practitioner here. And thank you, Rich, for the redemption song. And I'm going to jump right into it, right into the middle of truth in leading us in this meditative moment. So direct your attention inward, which means feel your body on the chair and deliberately relax. Surrender to the earth, to gravity, which is holding you. It is best to close the eyelids to facilitate this alert relaxing. Breathe in deeply through both nostrils. Breathe in, hold the breath. And now breathe out through both nostrils. Breathe in again, deeply, through the nostrils. Hold the breath. Breathe in a little bit more. Breathe out through the nostrils. And one more time. Breathe in deeply through the nostrils. Hold the breath. Breathe in a little bit more. Hold the breath and breathe out through the nostrils. And now just allow the breathing to go by itself, as it knows very well how to go. Just letting the body breathe. And from this alert and relaxed state of being, listen to these ideas of truth. We must be willing to be persistent in our insistence on the truth as we proceed on our path. This is essential as we progress toward an embodiment, a conviction, a knowing without any doubt of the truth. Even then, because we live in an ocean of human race thought, we must be ready to insist on truth at any moment. And this is within our own mind in relation to some of our so-called own thoughts which arise. And we want to be ever accepting when we find that we have screwed up. We want to have a looseness and a fluidity of attention that we need in recognizing, oh, I have erred from my path. Okay, no problem. Now I simply gear back in the right direction. We're continually ready to do a course correction. Oh, I started going southwest, west rather than east. These directions are just placeholders. Let me simply correct the course and steer back toward the east. Very loose and loving in our imperfection, our self-condemnation, our harsh self-criticism, our beating ourselves up. We have to be lovingly, and we want to be, lovingly firm and clear without being upset and judgmental of ourselves. And we are developing the ability to discern, and I think of the Sanskrit word viveka, discernment, at any time between the ego, the lower mind, whatever we want to call it, and the higher self, the Atman, the truth within, the alignment, the aligned state of the divine working through us as us. This discernment we have to be advancing toward all the time, and we're moving toward it. And we are remembering that principle is not bound by precedent. Principle is not bound by precedent. Nothing that has come before limits what can happen now and what we can envision for ourselves. And so once again, relaxing into the fullness of your physical experience of the vitality of your body, of this physical body that we have in form. Entering into prayer, I now speak these words of truth for everyone who is listening, for everyone in here who's hearing and seeing, and for any others who are allied in consciousness on this planet. There is but one power, one presence, one amazing, beautiful, joyful nowness. And this presence is everywhere present. It is in everything. It is working through everything. It is working through the body. It is working through the mind. There is no separation from it, even though we imagine such. It is complete and whole and perfect, and it knows what it is doing, and it knows what it wants to do. And each one is completely allowing of this, is opening to this, and is recognizing it as their very essence. And so this is now manifesting as health of the physical body temple, health and vitality, whole, perfect, and complete. Every single cell and every function is whole, perfect, and complete, and is doing its job. There are loving relationships and connectedness. There is all of the money and all of the resources necessary for the full self-expression of one's joy, of one's purpose, of one's goals, of one's gifts in this world of service, generosity of service, an overflowingness of abundant, delightful seva, service in this world. An expression of one's essence. Every single one listening now knows this truth, absolutely. This, and there is nothing that can interfere with this. There was nothing that would want to interfere with it, and that is good. And so now I declare that this is good, that this is done. This word is now complete. It is so, and so it is. Oh, and more music.
I play this song every Father's Day. It came out somewhere around the time my son was born. And I just always loved the tune. And I always connected with that time when my son was born, around that time. And so I'm going to sing it. People smile and tell me I'm the lucky one, and we've just begun. I think I'm gonna have a son. He will be like she and me, as free as a dove, conceived in love. The sun is gonna shine above. Even though he ain't got money, I'm so in love with you, honey. Everything will bring a chain of love. In the morning when I rise, bring a tear of joy to my eyes and tell me everything's gonna be alright. Seems as though a month ago I was very child. I never got high. Oh, I was a sorry guy. Now a smiley-faced girl shares my name. I'm through with the game. This boy will never be the same. Even though he ain't got money, I'm so in love with you, honey. Everything will bring a chain of love. In the morning when I rise, bring a tear of joy to my eyes and tell me everything's gonna be alright. Pisces, Virgo rising is a very good sign. Strong and kind, and the little boy's mine. Now I see a family where there once was none. Now we've just begun. Yeah, we're gonna fly to the sun. Even though he ain't got money, I'm so in love with you, honey. Everything will bring a chain of love. In the morning when I rise, bring a tear of joy to my eyes and tell me everything's gonna be alright. Love a girl who holds the world in a paper cup. Drink it up. Love her and she'll bring you luck. If you find she helps your mind, buddy, take her home. Don't you live alone. Try to love what others own. Even though we ain't got money, I'm so in love with you, honey. Everything will bring a chain of love. In the morning when I rise, bring a tear of joy to my eyes and tell me everything's gonna be alright.
Ooh. All right. So, boy, what a weekend we've got as our two practitioners have referred to. We've got the solstice, we've got Father's Day, we've got Juneteenth, we've got it all. What more could you possibly want? So I do want to share with you some thoughts about Juneteenth. Barack Obama has said, Juneteenth has never been a celebration of victory or an acceptance of the way things are. It's a celebration of progress. It's an affirmation that despite the most painful parts of our history, change is possible, and there is still so much work to do. In addition, Angela Davis has said, I am no longer accepting the things I cannot change. I am changing the things I cannot accept. You have to act as if it were possible to radically transform the world, and you have to do it all of the time. Radical simply means grasping things at the root. And so, believe it or not, in my mind, I see Juneteenth also as my talk today, being the father of yourself. And so as we come onto this planet, we are cared for by parents who do the best job that they can. And one is called the father and one is called the mother. No reason that I can think of why. Those are just made up words. And what we need to realize is we each have been created to be father and mother to ourselves. We have freedom, complete and total freedom. But that freedom, it's given to us, it's a gift, but as far as I know, very few parents, earthly parents, say, hey, you have the gift of freedom, go on. Although we used to have a practitioner when I first came here, Mary Bannon, who used to say to her, oh, lots of kids, I don't know, she had 8 or more children, I forget, but she says, my children are little birds, fly, fly, fly. You know, and she said that about them, you know, when they were born, you're little birds, fly, fly, fly. And then, you know, when they got older and became adults and they flew, she didn't necessarily like that. She was quite a force, Mary Bannon. Love you, honey. So, this gift of freedom is like the gift of life. We each have received it, but we need to assert it. We need to claim it. We need to live it. We need to choose it. And it might take us a while to realize that we can be the authority over our own lives. And so this talk and next week's talk, it's a little 2-part series. This is about the fathering principle or the masculine principle. And next week I'll talk about the feminine or the mothering principle. But what the point about these 2 principles that we must realize is that they have nothing to do with gender. They have nothing to do with human roles. That's certainly an expression. It's something we have choice about. It's something that we do. But the fathering, mothering principle is the gift given to each and every one of us. It's our gift, and we can claim it And we have to claim it in order to experience it. So we have this wonderful world experience of freedom, Emancipation Day. And as Barack Obama and Angela Davis both have mentioned, this isn't the end. And just because you become an adult, just because you get your driver's license, or you get married, or you have a baby, just because these things happen in our world, a law is passed, it doesn't mean we're done. In claiming that quality that we are thinking we have because of something that's happened in the world. Liberation, freedom, is something that each one of us must claim and grow into every single day. And it's over how we are thinking ourselves to claim, no, you, the world, do not get to decide what I am going to experience. You don't get to have authority over me. The fathering principle is recognizing that you are the authority in your world. And that's a tough thing to do, especially if you had very domineering parents, or you were raised in a very authority driven environment. I remember when I first came into this teaching with Dr. Stuart Grayson, oh my gosh, he was stern, he was rough, he was scary. He was like my earthly father. So I listened to him. He was an authority, and he was brilliant. So he was an authority that I was willing to listen to. But as I studied with him for, close to 11, 12 years, toward the end, I realized I could see things happening in me where I realized I had to be choosing to be his equal, to be the authority in my world, and leave him as that beloved mentor and teacher that I had received so much from. This is true maturity, spiritual maturity, to claim your spiritual authority, to claim that I am is who you are. And conditions in the world may be such that it's presenting you with things that you don't like, but no one makes you identify with what is happening in the world. And with the labels or the claims that other people might try to put on you, you do not have to identify with it. I am is something that only you can say for yourself. And so we're very careful in the Science of Mind teaching about deciding what it is we are going to say after I am. And so saying, I am free, I am not a victim, I am able to do every good thing that I desire to do, I am the authority in my life, regardless of whether the world agrees or not, regardless of whether the world makes it easy or not. See, needing the world to make it easy for you to claim your authority is not claiming your authority. It's another version, subtle version of depending on the world. Think about that. I got to think about that. So of course we want the world to make it easy for us, but that's not asserting your authority. Asserting your authority is declaring the world you desire to experience and declaring the person that you want to become, declaring your own identity and demanding that the world respect this choice that you have made. And it might not, but just because it doesn't is no reason to give it away, right? As Angela says, I am no longer accepting the things I cannot change. Right, the world is doing what it's doing, but I am changing the things I cannot accept. That is spiritual maturity. That is being the authority in your life. Call it the masculine, the fathering principle, but it's that gift of saying, I get to choose. And if something is unacceptable in my world, in my environment, I can choose, and I can choose to do something about it. But at the very least, I can choose to not agree with it. Not agree with it. I do not agree with certain things. And then to realize that we've got this mothering principle, this other nurturing creative principle that changes our worlds and our environments based upon what we have decided. But see, it's so critical, right? That mothering principle is going to create something for us. But if we're going along with the world, it's going to be creating what the world is and you going along with it. And it's that masculine, decisive energy, again, nothing to do with people, male or female or whatever. It's something that's in all of us, that drive within us, that motivation within us that says, I choose, I stand up, I declare this, I'm taking a stand. This is who I am. When in the Bible, we have story after story after story of people who have gone through a spiritual revelation of some sort, and they change their name, right? Our names have been given to us by not us, right? Our parents, they came up with one. The reason why I'm not named Christine, this is a story for the time, right? The reason why I'm not named Christine is because when I was born, Christine Jorgensen declared herself to be female. She was male and declared she was female and went through the whole surgery and all of that sort of stuff. And because of that, my mother didn't want me to be associated with that. And that's why I'm Karen. And I'm like, darn, if I was called Christine, I could be, like it's a version of the Christ within. And I could be Chrissy. And, just you can't do much with Karen, But anyway, so that was my mother's idea. But you can see how mixed in with error that decision was. And yet that name was given to me. And here I am. Is it who I am? Or is it who I am accepting? What is your name? Now, I notice cats have 3 names. So when I heard about that, I've got 3 names too. There's the cat, there's the name that the world calls the cat, and then there's the name that the cat calls her or himself, and then there's their secret name. Get a secret name. A secret name that is your chosen identity in God. Your name. And keep it sacred. Keep your soul sacred. And I'm always in awe of the stories of people who were in concentration camps, who declared something different for themselves than what was being pressed on them, and with all that fear and disgustingness all around them, but they declared something else for themselves, and in their experience, they had something better than going along with what it all was. And so eventually, yes, they were liberated. My earthly father was there liberating concentration camp. I have a photograph of him. Ooh, the stuff. And so you realize that being a victim and enslavement is a consciousness of the human race that exists around the world, and it exists in each one of us, no matter what our circumstances are. But the good news, as Juneteenth, shows us, and other events like this, and wise people like Barack Obama and Angela Davis who say things like that, they're seeing that we are growing in our consciousness of choosing the authority, of being the authority over our lives, but we're not done. And the thing about freedom of choice is I cannot make you choose to be free of all the unconscious demons in yourself. So we can open doors, we can give each other keys, we can say, you're free, go fly, little bird. And yet it's up to each one of us to use that key, to walk through that door, to make a different choice. And as far as I can tell, we're never done with that. That the world continuously presents us with another version of being a victim. And we have to take a stand. I mean, am I a victim of slavery or not? We've taken a stand. No. Okay, fine, that's good. But now what's the next evolute? Am I a victim of terrorism? Well, we have to make a choice. Am I? Am I going to be afraid of where I go or what's going on in the airport? Or am I going to know that I am the authority in my life and one with the divine, with that essence and consciousness of love and peace and harmony is a complete majority. And wherever I go, all is well. Am I going to be a victim of the next disease on the horizon? Is my actual body a victim of what the circumstances are in the world? Or do I have authority over my own body? The Science of Mind teaching says we do. But we have to develop that authority, the belief in our own authority. That's the thing. We have the authority, but we don't have the belief in our authority. And so that's that masculine principle. It's in us, but we must choose it. We must choose over and over and over. And as my spiritual mentor, Dr. Stuart Grayson taught, it is clarity, the clarity of thought that brings us up out of ignorance, out of accepting what we think we can't change. That's ignorance. Oh, I can't change it, so I have to accept it or make the best of it. Let me make the best of it, Well, that's all fine and good, but the spiritual authority we've been given says nothing. No good Science of Mind text will ever say, make the best of the conditions in your world. You can, it's a choice, but it's missing the authority that has been given to us, but not realized by us, not used by us. And again, an authority that we don't use, that we don't exercise, we really don't have. It feels like we don't have. And so we continue to grow spiritually in claiming the name of God, Yahweh, right? I am that I am. There's nothing more to be said. I am that I am is all. So we want to be on the alert of where we are saying, I am that I am, but right here I am not. In any kind of subtle way. I suggested to someone I was working with to make a list of all the areas of their lives that they felt powerless over. And the reason why I did this was because years ago, I made such a list. what are some areas of my world, my experience that I believe I'm powerless over? And so I wrote maybe 5 things. I also made a list of the things that I thought I was able to change, the things that I did have power over. And then I made a third list of those things that I'm not so sure about whether I have power over or not. Returns are yet to come in. But as I looked at the list of the things that I believed I had no power over, I realized it was just, I believed that because I had not yet been able to change those things. I had not yet been able to change those things. But it didn't mean it was impossible to change those things. And the Science of Mind teaching says that it is possible to change things because things are created out of our beliefs. The things in my world are created out of my beliefs, not the world's beliefs. The things in your world are created by your beliefs, not the world's beliefs. But if you've just accepted the world's beliefs as given, they become your beliefs. There's the thing. And then we become a victim of it. And so you can believe, we could choose to believe what the world believes. We can all agree. And what I would advise is make sure it's your choice about it. You're choosing to believe it. Okay. I believe that there is, terror in the world. And, there's certain things that need to be done, certain laws that need to be passed to take care of that whole thing. And personally, I say good luck with that, because it's the terror that's creating the conditions that we need to make laws about. And so what we want to do is be free of all that. First of all, make the laws. Because I'm not free. But I aspire, right? We want to aspire to that consciousness of love and peace and harmony, so that we are always guided by that loving presence to be in the right place at the right time with the right people for the highest and the greatest good of all. That's the consciousness I want and aspire to, and it's possible, and we're growing into it. Now, Dr. Stuart Grayson, in his book, Spiritual Healing, a simple guide for the healing of body, mind, and spirit. A simple guide. It's a simple man with a simple, it's a Science of Mind is a simple teaching. It's just not so easy, right? All right, so we teach spiritual mind treatment, affirmative prayer. Spiritual mind treatment. Affirmative prayer is kind of wishy-washy, right? Nah, we teach spiritual mind treatment. We mean using that mind of the spirit. We are knowing the truth. Boom, 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 case closed. Okay, let's not get it mixed up with, and God, if it be in your generous spirit nature too, whatever. Okay, so we're not that kind, okay? Although you can be if you want. What do I know? So Dr. Stuart Grayson talks about how to get clearer and clearer in your belief and your thinking about a particular choice that you might want to experience in your world. And what he gives is this example. For example, suppose you have a note due from John Smith. That's a loan. A note due from John Smith on a loan on September 15th, and you are worried about it. So John Smith owes you some money, and the payment is September 15th, and you're concerned about whether he will pay it or not. Now, what Dr. Stuart Grayson teaches us here is it's not about John Smith. But he's blah, 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 blah. It's what you believe John Smith is. John Smith, and that concern you have about John Smith is a belief living in you. And so he goes on. The first step in reversing the negativity associated with the note is to know that there is no finality in the universe, no final moment in the universe, and there is no false speculation operating. That note being due on a particular date gives you the sense that maybe Mr. Smith will not be able to pay it. Maybe something is going to go wrong in the situation, and you start to speculate on the negative. That maybe this is the final moment and he is not going to be able to pay up. This is the first negative belief to reverse in yourself. So this is quite a claim of authority here. I mean, it's John Smith who's got the mess of finances, and you know he never pays anything. And he kind of looked a little funny the last time that you saw him or something, and you know how difficult it is to keep people to their word and da, da, da. And what Dr. Grayson is saying is that negativity is all in you. Those thoughts are all in you, and that's got to get cleared up in you. You got to stop thinking all that. And so we do that with spiritual mind treatment. Right away, we begin knowing the truth about that. And what he says is, okay, there is no final moment in the universe, right? Because the universe created time itself. Everything is a continuum. Everything is continuous. And so there is no due date of life. And so just get over the deadline and then get over this belief that something might happen to John Smith and his ability to pay. Get rid of it through spiritual mind treatment by knowing the truth. Then he says, go even deeper. The next negative might simply be that money is owed you. So to reverse this negative, you must get rid of any condemnation or judgment about Mr. Smith. You also have to know, that John Smith is a person of integrity. You have to know that. Integrity is John Smith's nature and being, and integrity is expressing through him. You have to know that. The third negative may involve the idea of money, that maybe there is not enough money so that he can pay your note. And to reverse this negative thought, you have to say that this is a lie, that there is always enough spiritual substance, always enough spirit to meet every situation. And furthermore, that there is always more than enough to meet every situation because it comes out of an infinite, unending supply of good. And so your consciousness of abundance and of infinite supply from that one source must be what you're thinking about John Smith, that it's not just for you, but it's true for him. You have to deny that belief that maybe he won't have enough. No, that infinite supply also works for him. And then fear of the date may then begin to operate. Is he going to pay up on the 15th? Is it going to work out? This is how fear begins to handle your thinking. To counteract it, you say that you refuse to let a date on a calendar put you into bondage of any kind. You are not a victim of dates. This is new to me, because I know that there's always a divine schedule, but when we're worried about it, the rent's due this date, this is due this date, I've got to move by this date, we make up dates all over the place, and we become a victim of the date. And then to say, I am not a victim of dates. Why? You experience right here and now in your consciousness and in your experience everything that you need for fulfillment. Dates are not part of your world. And on and on and on. And so what he says, if you want to reverse your negative thinking about a situation, you can go down a list of specific points like this. Make up your list of what it is that you fear about something. If you're feeling anxiety or say that word, I'm concerned about whatever, get specific. What is it what are all my concerns? And then meet them with spiritual truth of the great I am that I am. Meet them with your spiritual authority to believe what you choose to believe about life. Let the world go do what it wants. But your world, instead of being a victim of the world and others and what they're doing, let your world be the victim of your own thinking. In a good way. I don't even know if that even works to say that, but it's cause effect. Realize spiritually, we've been created to have dominion over our world. I don't have dominion over your world. I don't have dominion over John Smith's world, but I have dominion over my world. And in my world, I'm thinking things about John Smith, and I have dominion over what I think about John Smith. And so I get to change what I'm thinking about John Smith and then let the law, that mothering principle, work it all out. We have a great story of Dr. Ernest Holmes going to Boston to visit Dr. Robert Bitzer's Science of Mind Center that existed there at the time. And while Dr. Ernest Holmes was there, one of the people in the community wanted to have a practitioner session with him. And so Dr. Robert Bitzer was teasing Dr. Holmes, saying, "Oh, good luck getting her to pay you." And Ernest Holmes said, "She will pay me." And Dr. Bitzer said, "Well, she has never paid anyone else." And Ernest Holmes said, "She will pay me." So this woman who had not paid anyone else any of that practitioner work, and apparently Robert Bitzer was included in that, along with all the other practitioners. And even though Dr. Ernest Holmes was told that's just the way this woman is, Dr. Ernest Holmes did not agree in his belief with that assessment of that woman. He knew her to be a woman of integrity, a woman that was abundant, a woman of honesty, and that she would do what was right. And Dr. Robert Bitzer said, she paid him. But still wasn't paying anybody else. So the thing is, we know that when we are dealing with other people, that each person we come into contact with has infinite possibility within them, and all the divine qualities are with them. And we know that even the worst of the worst people had some relationship where a better side was shown. And why can't it be your relationship with them? Why can't you believe that everyone that you meet is friendly and honest? Karen, listen to this. I had to take my car in again over the weekend. Okay, anyway, friendly and honest and doing their best and enjoying you and liking you. Years ago, I realized that I wanted to believe that I was in an environment like the Cheers bar, and when I walked in, everyone knew my name and would say, "Karen!" I went, "Yeah, I'm here," whatever. But all of us want that. And it's our world, and we have authority over it. So we grow in the use of our freedom of choice, and we're never, ever, ever done. We're always being presented by others and by the world with their beliefs about what's going to happen, about our own health, about a particular person, about what to worry about what awful things somebody's going to do. And it's for us to negate it like Dr. Ernest Holmes did. Not for me. For me, I experience health. For me, I experience equality. For me, I am fairly treated. For me, everyone is honest. For me, everyone is generous. And we claim that and we cling to it, and that's the masculine principle, the fathering principle in us that gives us that ability to do it. And then next week we'll talk about the mothering principle, because, and it's not like one is better than the other. I mean that, the fathering principle is better than the mothering principle. And if you were trying to think, ask this question, well, after next week, but which principle has more power to it? You just can't. You can't. Because they're one, inseparable. And so that masculine, that fathering principle, that power to choose is meaningless without the power and the authority to create what has been chosen. And the ability to create anything is powerless without something having been chosen. See how they go together? So each one of us has the father, the mother principle within us, the masculine, feminine principle within us. It has nothing to do with whether you play football or sew. It's got nothing to do whether you wash dishes or, whether you're a CEO. It's got nothing to do with any forms that human beings are expressing in. But it's the gift that each one is given, all of it, not more of one and not less of the other, all of both. And yet it is up to each one of us to use it, to choose it and to use it. And so this Father's Day, we are choosing to be a better father to ourselves. And we honor our earthly fathers. Of course we do. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Otherwise, right? I wouldn't be looking like this. And so with that thought, let us take a moment. Reverend Rich is going to sing something inspiring for us. And when I come back, I'll do another treatment, that spiritual mind treatment, that we accept our authority to choose, our freedom now. And so let's do that.
Well, summer's here, and it's time for dancing in the street.
All right.
Calling out around the world, are you ready for a brand new beat? Summer's here and the time is right for dancing in the street. The dancing in Chicago, down in New Orleans, in New York City. All we need is music, sweet music. There'll be music everywhere. There'll be swinging, swaying, records playing, and dancing in the street. Oh, it doesn't matter what you wear, just as long as you are there. Oh, come on, every time, grab a girl. Everywhere around the world, they'll be dancing. In the street. This is an invitation across the nation, a chance for the folks to meet. They'll be different singing, the music swinging, they're dancing in the street. Philadelphia, PA, Baltimore and DC now. Don't forget the Motor City. All we need is music, sweet music. There'll be music everywhere. There'll be swinging, swaying, records playing. They're dancing in the street. Oh, it doesn't matter what you wear, just as long as you are there. Come on, every guy, grab a girl. Everywhere around the world they'll be dancing, dancing in the street. Way down in LA, they're dancing in the street. Let's form a big line now. We're dancing in the street, across the ocean blue. We're dancing in the street, dancing in the street.
Dancing in the street. All right. So this word is being spoken for each one. Each one is a creation of the divine, created in its image and likeness. And that includes that masculine and feminine principle, fully present, fully represented within each one. And each one is now more aware of the gift of life that has been given, and that gift of having the authority to choose one's experience of living, of how one shall express and what one shall create, and ultimately, how shall each one's world be. This is the gift that has been given to each one, and each one is claiming it this day and using that gift of decisiveness, that gift of wisdom and spiritual discernment to choose what that great I am that I am shall become as each one. And so each one is going forward with freedom, with awareness, with conscious consideration of all of one's options and of selecting that which he or she desires to experience and express, and initiate the action of knowing this and directing the law to create it. And so each one is living in a world that each one loves completely. This is truth. I am grateful it's the truth. And I am directing the law now to do whatever the law knows how to do to change each one's beliefs so that each one realizes truth more than ever before. I let it go, it's done, and so it is. Whew.